All right, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Al Shabakatah, Yahweh Shamar Al Thum Bashim Al Shai. This preaching officer of 500 Mathumya out of I.S.U.P.K. started 1 West, 125th Street Hall, New York, under command of YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, teaching that blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are God's chosen people according to the Bible. You know what I mean? This is the Brotherhood Class, you know what I mean, where we come to teach our brothers and sisters about, everything evil going on in this world, how to dodge it, how to, fight against it, how to be your best self. You know what I mean? So further ado, I'm gonna grab some scriptures unless you got some questions, in the room. You know what I mean? No? All right, no sweat. So we just start from, let me see. You can start at the book of Baruch, chapter 4. So that's in the Apocrypha, right? In the Apocrypha, the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. Yeah, the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. You know what I mean? This is what we have to, engrave in our heads and our minds today, because what's going on the news, what you see every day on your social media platforms, you know what I mean? If you're paying attention to what's going on, you know what I mean, is hell about to break loose in this place. So right now, it's the time to really get right to, what the Most High wants us to do. All right, so I'm gonna catch up with y'all. It's the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. So I'm gonna get verse 1. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of God." So this right here, the Bible, is the book of the commandments of God. So what we have to do is, instead of doing what your pastor wants you to do, instead of doing all things what fake Israelites want you to do, which we all know what they want us to do, is to stray away from what the Most High really wants. You know what I mean? It's a lot of the church notorious for what? Child abuse, everything evil. But what the I.S.U.P.K teaches you is to follow these precepts, the law, statutes, and commandments in this Bible. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endure forever." So in this law that you find in the Bible, this is how you live. This is how you live. All right. It says, "All they that keep it shall come to life." Basically, what I was just saying. Like, this is how you live. This is how you, come to life. Now, like everybody's walking around here with pumping heart. Everybody around here got blood flowing through their veins, but are they living for real? You know what I mean? Brothers out there, a lot of brothers in a lifestyle where they have to, look over their shoulder all the time. Is that really living? You know what I mean? A lot of brothers might have issues with, drug paraphernalia or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Where you have to basically, give your life to a plan. You know what I mean? Like, is that really living? You know, understand? That's why a lot of people in that lifestyle end up, losing their life, because that's not the way to life. The way to life is keeping these commandments that you're gonna find here in the Bible. All right. So when where I start off at, I'm gonna just read from the middle. In the middle, it says, "And the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." You know what I mean? Once you leave these commandments, once you do away with these laws in here that you're going to find, you understand, you going to perish. You're going to perish. You might lose your family. Your whole life going to crumble before your eyes, because, you're doing something the Lord ain't want you to be doing. You know what I mean? This all applies to the nation of Israel. Everybody outside these 12 tribes, this don't really apply to. You can read this all you want. You can go over this all you want if you were a so-called oppressor, who's the devil the Bible speaks of, the the slave master. You could be an African reading this all you want to. You could be, the Chinese man reading this all you want to, and try to get some understanding. You ain't never going to understand it, because this Bible was never for you. You know what I mean? So when it says in the second verse right here, it says, "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it." The proof of what I was just saying is right there. It says, "Oh, Jacob." The word Jacob, Jacob is a brother that is the progenitor of the lost 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so he's a forefather, so to speak. That got his name changed later to Israel. All right, hence us being the Israelites, being the sons and daughters of Israel, right? So it says, "And take hold of it, walk in the presence of the light thereof." This is how you let your light shine. You got brothers in the world that want you to behave a certain way, or sisters want you to behave a certain way. You know what I mean? But once you take these statutes and you know what I mean, these commandments, and you keep it in your spirit, and you go about your days with these in mind, people are not even gonna recognize you after a while. They're not going, they're gonna be like, what the hell got into you? Your family not gonna recognize you no more. I done experienced it. You know what I'm saying? Like, your family gonna want to know what the hell happened, what you into. I hope you ain't messing with them coke niggas or whatever. You know what I mean? They're gonna wonder what you into. They're gonna be worried about you. They're gonna be scared to death. You know what I mean? Because you decided to not smoke weed no more. Like, God forbid I want to change, right? You know what I mean? All because you don't plant a Christmas tree in your home no more. All hell break loose now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Christ said in the New Testament, where he said, I come to make your homes at variance. You know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing and butchering a little bit, but basically meaning this. He's gonna, like, the differences and the little beefs that you're gonna have with your family because of this, because you changing. That's the Lord separating you from your family. That's the Lord doing that, because I mean, he ain't come to, I mean, have everybody, I mean, loving everything about this world and all that. He ain't come to do that. You know what I mean? He actually said, like, I come to set a man at variance with his family. Paraphrasing. You know what I mean? So you're gonna decide to not celebrate Thanksgiving. You're gonna decide not to eat that Thanksgiving meal, go to that Thanksgiving party. You're gonna decide not to do that. Everybody gonna call you, they're gonna blow your phone up asking where you at, what happened. You know what I mean? You don't love us no more. They're gonna do all that. But the righteous thing is to leave it alone. You know what I mean? For one, the Lord ain't give us those holidays, right? You ain't gonna find nowhere in the Bible where it says, all right, on this day, the third Thursday of November, you gotta, what I mean, cook some dry ass turkey, you know what I'm saying? And, have everybody come over and have a feast dedicated, what I mean, to the slaughter of the Native American Indians. You know what I mean? He didn't say to do any of that. That's a pagan holiday. Just like all these other pagan holidays, Christmas and included. Halloween included. That's why we catch so much bullet holes on Halloween, because we celebrating a day that the Lord didn't deem special. Halloween and Christmas and New Year's Day and all that stuff is just another day. It's just another day to live. Ain't nothing special about it. Treat it like a normal day. Hell, if I was able to go to work on them days, I would. But they, tell everybody don't come in. You understand? Like, you gotta treat everything that's of this world like it's nothing. Like it's nothing at all. You know what I mean? And you're gonna catch hell, like I said, you're gonna catch hell from your family. You're gonna catch hell from your very own mother, from your father. You're gonna, you know what I mean, if they don't understand these things. But your job is to stay strong. Your job is to stay strong and be diligent and to not fall weak to anybody that doesn't want you to be a certain way. Any questions? No? Okay. Yeah, your job is to stay strong. You know what I mean? You lose a family in the world, outside these doors, you lose the family, meaning this. They don't want to keep contact with you no more. Meaning they see you different from them. They don't want nothing to do with you no more. They ain't even hitting you up no more like they used to. The conversations is shorter, the conversations is different. You know what I'm saying? Everything is dismissive now with them. You understand? Hell, you lose that family, you gain a new one in Christ, in the UPK. You now gain a new family in here where everybody shares the same mindset. Everybody has, the mindset of, I'm not gonna sleep with another brother's woman. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna, cross my brother and talk behind his back. You understand? I'm not gonna, eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna whore my sisters out. I'm not gonna do that. Knowing if she got a man and all that, I'm not gonna, play around and act like I can get with her when I know she has a man. You understand? I ain't gonna do that. If a brother, have an art with a brother, you gotta go out, and handle it, address it. Or it goes for sisters too. If they got a problem, you go to a sister and be like, yo, I was offended by this and that, such and such. and she hears you, she says, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Then she heard you. That's her hearing you. If she doesn't hear you, be like, oh, well, I don't know what you mean by that, because all I was doing was this. That means she didn't hear you. You take it to counsel, you know what I mean, get it worked out like that. You know what I mean? But that's how we raise this nation up. That's how we raise this nation. All right. So we're gonna go from there. We're gonna get Deuteronomy 7 and 6, based off of a little bit what I was just going over just now. What I was talking about, how Jacob is the lost 12 tribes, right? This right here is the proof that the Most High loves us over everybody else, loves us more than everybody else, and doesn't care about anybody else. All right, so let me meet you there real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. All right, it says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." So when it says, "For thou art an holy people," the word holy means to be separate. You know what I mean? Set apart. You understand? Holy people mean to be separate or set apart, be different. And it says, "Unto the Lord thy God, the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself." He chose us to be special unto him, you know what I mean? To be a special people. You understand? And how we a special people, I see it every day on the news. I see it every day in the entertainment industry. I see with brothers playing in NBA, you know what I mean, dominating the NBA, dominating the NFL, used to be dominating golf, you know what I'm saying, NHL, all them the rap industry, you know what I mean? We basically the best at everything. We the best at everything. Everything we touch turns into gold. We're the Lord's special people. We're his special people. All right. And it says, and that's how you know what I mean, our women cook the best. Our women cook the best. Our women are the best women on the earth. We just brought out videos on how these Edomites, these devils, right? They had a meeting with a group of sisters, right? It's an old video. It looked like it was taken in probably like 2007 or something like that, right? But they was sitting, it was two devils sitting with these sisters. It probably was like seven of them, something like that. But they telling them like, yo, your DNA that y'all have in y'all is something that we need, and we will spend top dollar for it, like $60,000 for your eggs, all different types of DNA. But this is sisters that they talking to though. You know what I mean? And he was also talking about, you gonna go to the abortion clinic and waste it. Just give it to us and we can use it for whatever we want to do. You know what I mean? They know that they're less efficient than us. They know that they are not better than us. You know what I mean? All the way down to the DNA. You know what I mean? They'll spend top dollar, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for our women's eggs to do whatever, to do God knows what. You know what I'm saying? To infuse it in them and try it so they could be, you know what I mean, masculine and strong like black men are, and have their women to be strong like our woman is. They women can't push out babies like our women could. Like they not producing as much white people today as we are producing black and Latinos and Native American Indians. You know what I mean? So they trying to do whatever they can to make sure that they stay strong and that we stay low. That's why they do everything in their power to make sure that we stay low in poverty, stay, down in the gutter. You know what I mean? Block us off from getting jobs, make it harder for us to get jobs. You understand? Making sure we homeless. You know what I mean? The whole reason why we even have to pay co-pays today is because some devil didn't want, you know what I mean, black people to have free healthcare. So that's the whole reason why we have to pay any type of copay today. You know what I mean? They trying to make an advantage out of every single thing you could think of that the average brother, everyday brother, is not even thinking about. He's just trying to make it through this hell. You know what I mean? The average sister just trying to make it through this hell. She just trying to get through this day here in this hellhole we call America. You know what I mean? So when you read it again from the top, right? It says Deuteronomy 7 and 6, it says, "For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods." Oh, Slocky, I'm reading another one, but that's a good one too. That's a good one too. But I'm gonna go skip down real quick. Verse 6. "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Most High is saying he wants us to be above all people. Didn't say some people, didn't say half of the people on the earth, didn't say 99%. He's saying above all people, meaning, you know what I mean, that very same white man you got to clock in for every day for whatever company you're working for. He wants, he wants us to be above him. That's our rightful place on this earth, to be above everybody. But why aren't we there today? Why aren't we there today? Is because we choose to do what we want to. We didn't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. So therefore, we under this oppressor. We under this beast that likes to abuse children. It's coming out in the Epstein files. I don't know how much everybody else going into it, but we into it deep, trying to bring out everything nasty and disgusting this oppressor is doing. We subject to a beast that doesn't mind torturing babies, doesn't mind, cooking them, eating them, making recipes out of them, calling them beef jerky and all that. This is all coming out in the Epstein files. And this is all what our oppressors been doing behind the curtain, behind the scenes. The Lord is revealing it now because we in the time of the end. All right, but the Lord wants us to be above them, above these nations. For far too long, we've been under these devils, working for them, and we got nothing to show for it. We've been under them for 400 plus years. 400 plus years we've been under these devils, working, doing everything that they could never do. Like building their highways for them. You understand? A black woman invented the GPS system. They wouldn't even be traveling the way they do today without a sister coming up with the GPS system. You know what I'm saying? Like the refrigerator, the stoplight, all these things, right? We built this country. We built everything good about this country. We built all the treasure cities here, just like we did in ancient Egypt. We did these things, right? But we get the muddy end of the stick, because they just don't care about us. They know that we are better than them. We're something special. We're something different, and they want to keep us down. All right, but the time for that is coming to an end, though. Time for that is coming to an end, because we're gonna get this next precept. It's in the Apocrypha. You can find it in Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. I'm gonna catch up with you too. SHALAM. You know what I mean? Because it's a good precept to understand what time we're in right now. This is one of the excellent precepts that we read. Give us some clarity about the end times, right? So it's a book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world." Now, anybody that don't know out there, Esau is the biblical name of the white man. Anytime you see Esau, anytime you see Edom, Edom, anytime you see Idunya, it's talking about our oppressor. It's talking about him. All right, so I'm going to read again from the top. It says, "For Esau is the beginning, is the end of the world." So he's the end of the world. You want to know how I know America is about to fall and it's crumbling down now? It's because, I see that our oppressors are ruling over this world right now, ruling the earth. They ruling the earth, and this is the time of the end. And really, I see America falling right now. And that's another sign, we're at the end. But when you read on after that, it says, "And Jacob is the beginning of it that followed." So once this kingdom ends, when this kingdom falls, completely, we know that our kingdom is coming afterwards. Our kingdom is coming next, and that's going to be a righteous kingdom. That's going to be a kingdom where you ain't got to worry about your child being abused by anybody. You ain't got to worry about, locking your doors for real. You ain't got to do that. It's some brothers. It was a time brothers down south and all them families down there, didn't even lock their doors, because that's how we was living. We had brotherhood. We had a sense of brotherhood back then. where we never locked our doors. We left it open. We left the door wide open. You know what I mean? Back then. But you can't do it now because, you know what I mean, the devil has brainwashed us into hating one another. Into hating one another, having an evil eye towards one another. You know what I mean? Even if you think you're having a good time with a brother, with a group of brothers or a group of sisters, you know what I mean? You up to, no good. You up to mischief. You up to doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? But the righteousness that we used to have as a whole, you know what I mean, has been lost for the most part outside of I.S.U.P.K. You know what I mean? It's been lost and we getting it back. We fighting and, you know what I mean, fighting every day to, you know what I mean, get it back to where it was. You know what I mean? But it's already like that in the UPK. So that's why we tell brothers and sisters outside these doors, you know what I mean, run up in here. Run up in there. You ain't missing anything in the world. The world meaning anything outside these doors. You ain't missing nothing out there. Everything out there, you know what I mean, you either gonna end up, you know what I mean, unalived, in jail, or God knows what else. You know what I'm saying? You think you're having a good time out there, really dysfunctional. Thinking you know what I mean, got everything handled, but in actuality, you don't have anything handled. About to get, you know what I mean, locked up for life for doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. You understand? That's why it says right here, you know what I mean? So like when it says here, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's something that we have to prepare for. That's something we have to prepare for. Because Christ, you know what I mean, is waiting on us. So like the most high is waiting on us. You know what I'm saying? He's waiting on us to get right. He's waiting on us to do better. You understand? And he wants us to get right. Now I want to get another precept that goes along with if I could. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I'm gonna get another precept. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Deuteronomy for a second. Deuteronomy, Leviticus 20 and 26. Leviticus 20 and 26. Let's see if I can find this over. You know what I'm saying? All right, where it says, give me 1 second, I'm gonna catch up with you. All right. All right. The book of Leviticus 20 and verse 26. It says, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people. So the Lord, that's the word holy again, right? You know what I mean? The Lord made us separate. All right, so it says, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people. He severed us from all these other nations. He severed us from them. And like if I had a sword, if I had a dagger or whatever, right? And I cut this part of my arm off, my forearm off, that means it's separated from the rest of my body. The Lord violently separated us from these other nations. That's what he's telling us right here. And it's for a good reason. Any nation that, you know what I mean, gives smallpox to a group of innocent people by the way of Native American Indians, the First Nation, brothers and sisters, right? You know what I mean? It's the devil the Bible speaks of, and we need to be separated from him. The Lord knew what he was doing when he wanted us separated from these other nations. Because when we join to him, like we join to them now, what happens? What happens? Sis? No. Like what happens is we get joined unto them and we don't have anything. We don't have any black businesses. You know what I mean? We got a Crown Fried Chicken in every ghetto, right? Whereas Arabs working back there cooking fried chicken. And it's so ironic because black women cook fried chicken better than any Arab could. You know what I'm saying? Ever. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. These are the things that we are known for, cooking fried chicken, soul food and all that. And they want to, and they selling carrot cake on the side and all that in the stores and all that. You know what I mean? They Crown Fried Chickens and all that. You know what I mean? But that's us. That's our thing. You understand? These other nations, we got a Chinese restaurant in all of our neighborhoods, but we don't get any of the money. We patronize them, right? But we don't receive any funds from them. But they kids are going to Ivy League schools off of our hard-earned money. You understand? Like none of our kids is reaping the benefits of us making them rich. Like we not benefiting at all. You understand? The white man is the devil. He got all the businesses. He set up everybody. And you could think that no good nigga Martin Luther King, because Martin Luther King, what he did, you know what I mean, he lied to us, telling us that, you know, that we can have a better life. You know what I mean? Join hand in hand with these devils. Like they ain't never no getting along with the devil. All right. The Native American Indian brothers, the First Nation brothers, the Gadites, the tribe of Gad, according to the Bible, and the tribe of Reuben, the Seminole Indians, right? They trusted these Edomites. I was just reading about it today in this book right here, you know, Lost Tribe and Promised Lands, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know what I mean, they would greet these devils coming in and trust them. But in return, they get smallpox from poisonous blankets, from disease infested blankets. You understand? And knowing that they got diseases, knowing they carrying diseases from over in Europe. They know they know, you know how they lived in Europe back then. How they lived was they would have their feces drop out the window. They would have their feces and they would throw it out the window. You know what I mean? So it's just out on the streets and everybody just everyday people walking past gotta watch where they step. You know, they gotta watch where they walk. You know what I mean? That's the whole reason why high heels was invented. You understand? Like that's the whole reason why high heels was invented. Nobody trying to step in all that, you know what I'm saying? So they women had to squeeze their big fat feet in that, you know, on them heels so they don't get it on the soles of their feet. You know what I mean? But they knew they had them diseases over there. They knew how they was living. They knew that they were sick people and they brought it over here anyway. They decided to, you know, hurt our people anyway. And genocide, mass genocide, innocent people. You know what I mean? People that just taught them how to live through the winter. People that taught them how to grow crops, how to grow food in this land, how to survive in the Americas. You understand? But in turn, they get murdered by it. In turn, they got to go through the Trail of Tears, led by Andrew Jackson, where that devil single-handedly snatched babies out of pregnant native First Nation women out their stomachs and dashed it against tree trunks. Dashed the baby's head against the tree trunk. That's what he did. You understand? The Lord knew what he was saying when he said, what? When he said, let me go back here. It says, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from from other people. He knew what he was doing when he severed us from other people. He knew that they was going to be predators against us. He knew that he calls us his sheep for a reason. You know what I mean? He calls us his lost sheep for a reason. You understand? So that means he just trying to protect his babies, protect his children. You know what I mean? The Lord, YAHANNA, you understand, who the world ignorantly knows as Jesus Christ. You understand? He told us to refer to the Father, look at the Father, us like I gave it, and he told us to look at the Most High as a Father. You understand? He told us to look at him as a father. That's how you can better understand, you know what I mean, your relationship between you and the Most High. You understand? But he also, you know what I mean, told us that, you know what I mean, so we could look at it in not such a religious way, you know what I mean, that the church would have you look at him as, or the Pharisees at the time, who is the Christian church today, will have you look at it. You understand? So, you know what I mean, the Lord said, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. You understand? That we will be his. We will be his possession and nobody else's. And that's something that you want. You don't want to be in the possession of the Edomites like we are Today, we in the possession of the Edomites, and you know, we lost, like, you know what I mean, nobody's business under them today. You understand? We lost like nobody's business. You understand? We are worried about rap beefs. You understand? We worrying about, you know what I mean, T.I. and 50 Cent, and, you know what I mean, the back and forth between them, not even knowing, you know what I mean, the U.S. is in talks with Iran and it's about to go down, basically, because Iran not hearing them. Iran is not going to hear them. You know what I mean? They not going to, I don't know why they thought Iran was just going to stop building nukes and all that stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, Not even we weren't about this. We weren't about, the rap beat. We weren't about all these other things. You know what I'm saying? But not knowing World War III is afoot. You know what I mean? And while all these other nations are about to gear up and they about to, do what they're going to do to each other, what are we supposed to be doing? What we supposed to be doing now is Black people, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We supposed to be gathering together. We're supposed to be getting together amongst one another. You know what I mean? Which lead me to a precept. We can get Zephaniah 2:1. Book of Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. You know what I'm saying? Meet you real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this is the perfect time for us to be gathering ourselves together. It's the perfect time. All these other nations in a frenzy, they all trying to, make sure they reserve themselves and make sure that, they got the best foot forward to what's going to happen next on how they can rule the world themselves after it's all said and done. Not even knowing Christ's going to take it all from them and we're going to be under Christ in a righteous world, in a righteous kingdom. All right, so it says, book of Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1 says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. The Lord said it twice. Let you know how, important it is, how vital it is that we, take these to heart, that we, make sure that we know that this is serious. It says, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired. Because Black man, Latino man, First Nation man, woman, and child, you are the, we the biggest prey on the earth right now. Whether we want to believe it or not, whether we see it or not, whether we want to see it or not, we are the biggest prey right now. The biggest monster, Slugging, 12 Shield General Muhammad brought it out a few weeks ago on how, the biggest, cruelest beast, the biggest monster existing on the earth right now is after the Latino tribes. The coolest person you could ever imagine got his eyes locked on the Latino tribes. On the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Venezuelans, you understand, the Mexican brothers and sisters out there. He got his eyes locked on them tribes. And that's a serious thing, But the thing that's going to defeat all that, the thing that's going, triumph over all that thing right there, right, is brotherhood, is understanding that we got to come together. The Latinos join together with the Negroes, with the West Indians, with the Haitians, and we combine together and be that one family that was broken for so long, now joined back together like it's supposed to be. And if I could add, unstoppable, because the Lord said it right here. It said, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You understand? The Lord told us that for a reason. He don't be telling us these things for no reason. You understand? He said he was going to destroy ancient Egypt. He was going to destroy them for what they did to us, for the slavery that we was under over there, just like we are here in America today. He said he was going to do that because they wasn't trying to let us free. They wasn't trying to let us go. The ancient Egyptians wasn't even trying to let us go for 3 days to worship the Most High. They wasn't even trying to let us do that. But the Lord said, you know what? No sweat. I'm gonna destroy all these people. You understand? I'm gonna destroy the ancient Egyptians, and look at them today. Today, they not even the real ancient Egyptians are not even inhabiting that land no more. They all the way down in Sudan somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're destroyed. They're nobody people no more. You know what I mean? Doing God knows what to them cows down there. You understand? Like, listen. You know what I mean? The Lord wants us to be joined together with the Latinos, joined together with all these different tribes. You understand? Black and brown joined together. You cannot stop it. You can't stop it. And they want to call us minorities. I don't know if the white man's too sure about that. I mean, listen, if the Latinos join together with their true family according to the Bible, you know what I mean, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin and Levi, all them tribes come together with Manasseh, Issachar, Ephraim, all them tribes, Reuben. You understand? We all come together. I mean, who's really the minority? Mr. Whiteman, I think they might want to check their stats and look over a little bit, you know what I mean, a little more, because we're going to be the majority. Not that it matters that we're more, you understand, because the Lord going to, he delivered, what's his name? He delivered the brother Lot from out of Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I mean? A whole nation of sodomites, a whole nation of sexual deviants. You understand? The Lord saw Lot. He freed him and his it would have been his rib too that got free too, but she decided to look back. She decided to look back and miss all the things she had back in the past at home, and she turned into, you know, a pillar of salt. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, when the Lord say get out of there, get out of there. When he say don't look back, don't look back. You know what I mean? But the point is he looked on Lot out of all these sodomites in Sodom and Gomorrah, out of all them sexual deviants over there, and delivered them. So don't mean, you know what I mean, ain't a number thing, but the Lord is definitely going to deliver, you know what I mean, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He's going to deliver us out of this hell. You know what I mean? You know, whether the white man like it or not, whether we like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Some of us don't like the fact that we got to join together with the other tribes. You know what I mean? They want to say, no, this ain't our fight. This ain't our fight. You know what I'm saying? Dummy, it is your fight because you going to be next. You know what I'm saying? You about to be next. You finna be the next one on the chopping block. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And plus, they want to say that they never looked out for us. They never fought for us. The Mexicans spilt blood for us back in history. I mean, brothers just got to stop getting high. You know what I mean? Brothers just got to stop doing whatever they doing. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I mean, if you do your history, you do your research, you're going to understand that the Mexicans during the battle at the Alamo, you know what I mean, they stopped Edomites. They stopped oppressors from trying to start slavery up again. They wanted to put us back into slavery. The Mexicans took us in. They took us in, you know what I'm saying? And the white, you know what I mean, the slave masters, they wanted to come up and do God knows what to us, put us back in slavery, castrate us, do all things evil to us, you know what I mean? But the Mexicans was like, nah, you ain't about to make Texas a slave state. You ain't about to do that. You know what I mean? You ain't finna do that. They went to war and the Mexicans whooped they behind, you understand? And they did that for us. They did that for the Negro that came over the transatlantic slave trade. They did that for us. They spilled blood for us, man. So that's nonsense. Whenever you hear a brother talking about, oh, that ain't our fight, I'm stepping back. I'm gonna just chill. You know, like General Muhammad said, just say you scared or something. You know what I mean? Because that's obviously that could be the only thing. If you know that they fought for us in the past, if you know they did these things for us, they looked out for us. You know what I mean? They was protecting us from the slave master at the time, our enemies. What other reason would you have to step back and fall back from make this not your problem? Just say you're scared. You understand? Just say you twat. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they definitely looked out for us, and it's time to return the favor. You understand? It's time for us, like Jeremiah said, to start the Underground Railroad for them. You know what I mean? Do something like that for them. They getting you know, harmed by ICE out here, which ICE is out here in Trenton. I've been seeing them on Facebook. You know what I mean? Take them in your homes and don't let them out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've seen a video with somebody, they let somebody in their home, but then under pressure was like, all right, you gotta go. You understand? Keep them in when you have them in your home, keep them in there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna raise this nation up the way it's supposed to be. In 2 seconds, we're gonna need each other. So ain't no, you know, use in us hating one another. You understand? When food is short, when you know what I'm saying, when we need women to care for these babies that we're gonna be having, and power is out, ain't no more you know, everything is done. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Everything is done, electricity is gone. We're gonna need brotherhood, we're gonna need sisterhood, we're gonna need us to, you know what I mean, know how to keep brotherhood and sisterhood. But if we sitting all day watching, what's this like to watch today? baddies and all that, and you learning after them, where they, just scrapping, fighting one another, you subconsciously learning that, this is how I need to be. Even though you don't want to be like that, you looking at it as entertainment for real. You know what I mean? Even if you are looking at it as entertainment, you subconsciously is like, all right, I'm gonna be like that. Even though you don't want to be like that, you know what I mean? That could happen. You understand? That's not what we need to be. What we need to learn is how to, take care of these babies, to learn to have these babies. You understand? It's been a skyrocket of, stats that came out. What was it? I'm gonna estimate it because I can't remember off the top, but it was an astronomical number. I think it was like 300 something thousand a year where black women, Latino women are aborting their babies or unalive and murdering their babies in the abortion clinics. You understand? We got to learn to have them babies. You understand? We got to learn to have them babies and not do away with them. That's our future, believe it or not. Those are young warriors, our future warriors right there. Those are future princesses right there that we just helping the white man do away with, helping the white man murder. You understand? That was the whole reason. Where the abortion clinics come from? Where did it come about? That was the whole reason the eugenics movement was came about. If you don't know about the eugenics movement was started by some wench, some little devil, she devil named Margaret Sanger. You know what I'm saying? She started it up. You know what I mean? And where she wanted to, her idea was, I want to get a quote from her if I can find it. Let me see. Her idea, she wanted the black community to basically get infiltrated. One of our, our goal basically to be different from what it was. She wanted to have our communities fail and fall, right? So she masterminded a way to do it. Let me see if I can get a quote from her. Let me see. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can get a quote from her. She wanted our communities to fail. So what she did was she got some step and fetch it to be an ambassador, right? There we go, the Negro Project. Bear with me a second. I want to get this. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. Here's a quote right here, right? All right, the Negro Project. If you look up the Negro Project too, it has everything to do with the eugenics program. All right, it says in a letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble, Sanger discussed engaging black ministers to counter potential concerns that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And this is about to be a century old. You know what I mean? This is about to be damn near a century old. This was in 1939. This was what they was thinking, masterminding ways, for our extinction all the way back in 1939. It really go deeper than that, but you see, you get the point. In 1939, they was thinking about ways to have the Negro population exterminated. That was the whole point of the eugenics movement, the whole point of abortion clinics. So we can for the hopes of the Negro population to be exterminated. So when we go in there, we gotta know what we're doing. Just know you going in there helping they program, flourish. You helping the white man do what he wants to truly do, is to get us wiped off the earth completely. You helping them out. You understand? But don't get it's more in there too. It's more. Like one part I skipped over, I'm gonna read again. It says, in a letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble, Sanger discussed engaging black ministers to counter potential concerns, for the extermination of the Negro population. All right. So when it's talking about the ministers, right, the black ministers, it's talking about who? It's talking about Martin Luther King. They got him to be the spokesperson, the ambassador, the face of their program. You could look this up. I could look it up. I'll look it up. I'll probably bring an article up and all that too. You know what I mean? Let me see. You know what I mean? This is stuff that, your pastor ain't gonna tell you. Your pastor ain't gonna bring this up. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, your pastor not gonna tell you this because he wants you to be asleep. He wants you to be asleep. He don't want you to have some knowledge in your head because you gonna end up leaving his church. You gonna end up not liking what he's talking about. You gonna end up not paying him his tithes that he loves so much. You understand? You know what I mean? This is what he's not gonna bring out to you. Let me see if I can find it. Right. So let me read some of this. All right. Boom, boom, boom. He got an award too. He got an award for this thing too. Let me see. All right. Mm-hmm. Yup. Yup. Okay, let me read this right here. I'm gonna keep this a lot right here. I'm gonna read. All right. It says the relationship between Margaret Sanger, eugenics, and Martin Luther King Jr. is complex, often involving a conflict between her historical advocacy for reproductive rights, talking about her, the abortion clinics that she wanted to set up, the eugenics program, things of that nature, right? That's the reproductive rights that she's talking about. You got the right to unalive your baby because she's just saying you got the right to do it. You know what I mean? Giving us that witchcraft you know what I mean, to start killing ourselves off. You know what I mean? When that ain't right. That's that reproductive right she's talking about. All right. It says, in her engagement with eugenics ideas, attention that attention that was largely overlooked when King accepted an award from her organization in 1966. You know what I mean? He was her ambassador. He accepted an award from this very same person that devised this thing about having the eugenics program where we going to just get rid of the Negro population. You know what I mean? That was her home, you know what I mean, her homeboy. That was her road dog. Accepting an award because he basically put forth the mission, you know what I mean? He made her mission a success, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when the Lord said, what was we reading now? When it says, gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. These other nations really don't care. That's their base form. You know what I mean? They base form like people, brothers in the world have this where they think, you know what I mean, these other nations are, basically born. I mean, not born, but taught these things, right? You know what I mean? White babies taught to, hate, taught to hate this, that, which is true, but also more deeper than that. That's just they born with that. The white man mainly, he's born with, you know what I mean, hating us. You know what I mean? If you look in the scriptures and you pull up Jacob and Esau's birth, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna see how Esau, you know what I mean, he came out first. He came out first red and hairy. You know what I mean? And we came out, you know what I mean, smooth skin and all that. But the point is, we was fighting in the womb. We was fighting in the womb, Jacob and Esau. You know what I'm saying? We was fighting in the womb, and that shows how, our relationship today is where we don't really rock together. We've been hating each other since the womb. So the way they are today, they just naturally here to that's their natural state is just to hate us. Their natural state is just to gun us down. He can't help it. So when a black man has done nothing wrong, right, and he's wrongfully using aggression, you know what I mean, excessive force against a black man or a black woman, you understand, he can't help himself just to unalive him because that's in his blood. He's a murderous, cruel beast. You know what I mean? That we should never seek love from because he's incapable of loving anybody other than his own people. Hell, he's a devil to his own people. He's a devil to his own people. Those white babies that he over there abusing, torturing, and all that. Those white devil babies that's over there being treated, you know what I mean, terribly. You know what I mean? He's doing that to his own children. So, like, listen, what do you think he gonna do to us? What you think he'll do to us? Ain't never no getting along with him. All right, so I'm gonna read on what it said. Verse 2, it says, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff. You know what I'm saying? Before the fierce Lord of before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. You know what I mean? Before, all hell breaks loose, when all these nations gonna turn to themselves. All these nations gonna turn to themselves in this time, you know what I mean? The Chinese gonna turn to their own people. We see that now. A white man, we already know he's gonna turn to his own people. You know what I mean? The Japanese gonna turn to their own people. You know what I mean? The Ukrainians, you know what I mean? They're going to turn, everybody, all them white people, they're going to turn to their own people. But what are we going to do? Excuse me, slightly. But what are we going to do in that time? Are we still going to be having petty beefs with one another? Or are we going to learn to forgive each other? Put away the little past, the little petty beefs we might have had, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know what I mean? We might have had a long family line of problems or issues. We could just do away with it, you know what I mean, and understand that we have a bigger issue ahead of us. Understanding that, it's about to be crazy out here, and we could just fend for ourselves. You know what I mean? Anything, like I said earlier, everything we touch turn to gold. You know what I mean? So if we left to fend for one another, you know what I mean? I don't know if you remember where they turned off EBT a few months back. You know what I mean? Food stamps and everything like that. That was a good time for us to understand, okay, now we're going to have to lean on each other a little more. We're going to have to lean on each other to see what we can do for one another. How can I help? How can I be a help? How can I stop the bleeding? You know what I mean? For these black families in the ghetto. You know what I mean? How can I help my neighborhood out? How can I make sure this family eat? How can I make sure that family eats? This is what we have to practice now, because in the point in time, we're going to be in the game for real for that. You understand? This is the last scripture I'm gonna read. You know what I mean? Then I ain't gonna hold us too long in here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get this last precept. And then I'm gonna wrap the class. Go to Romans 13:11. You know what I'm saying? Romans 13:11. It's the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because now is the time to wake up. Right now is the time to wake up, and now is the time to come into the truth. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's don't come next week. Don't try to, you know what I mean, say I'm gonna come when I get my ish together. You know what I mean? Come now. The time to get in here, change your life for the Most High is now. You know what I mean? Brothers and sisters need to come in these doors and make a 180 from the lifestyle they was living before. You know what I'm saying? And, really get it on. And we're going to raise this nation up. You know what I mean? Like I said, look what's going on overseas. You know what I mean? Everybody's gearing up for this big event, for this big major event on the earth that's going to happen. While they doing that, the Lord said, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Our salvation is right around the corner. We don't even know it. You know what I mean? It's going to be like how long, you know what I mean? We tell brothers and sisters, man, you can get off, you know what I mean, drugs. You can get off, you know what I mean? You can stop smoking cigarettes. You can stop smoking blacks. You can stop smoking weed. You can get off of these things right here. And if it's too hard for you to battle by yourself, that's why you got brothers in here that could help battle with you. You know what I mean? You ain't by yourself no more. You ain't got to battle and fight that demon on your own no more. You know what I mean? You got brothers in here that are, help you with that battle, that make sure that you overcome that battle and get that demon up out of there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? This is why we urge our brothers to come into I.S.U.P.K, because this is the brotherhood that brothers out there could only dream of. You know what I'm saying? It says, you know what I mean? What it says. It's like, for now, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna wait till, the missiles, you see the missiles coming down to stop, you know what I mean, to, you know, to change your heart, then it'll probably be a little too late then. Right now is the time now. The time now is to get right now. You know what I mean? Because hell is around the corner. You know what I mean? But right now, the I.S.U.P.K is here, all over the globe, all over the country, all over, you know, all over these major cities across America. You know what I mean? Just hit up or look up I.S.U.P.K in the city nearest you. You know what I mean? Find the number, contact that brother, you know what I mean? Get in there and change your life. You know what I mean? Because we ain't got too much time left. All right. So with that, man, I'm gonna wrap the class off that. Appreciate everybody for tuning in online. All right, like as you know, we here it's like every Tuesday at the UN Library. All right, from 5:30, around 5:30 to 7, I mean, or 7:30, you know what I mean? So we're gonna wrap the class off that. Again, I appreciate y'all. Catch me here next Tuesday. I'm gonna salute y'all out. Shalom, Yahweh Shimi Al Shabakatah. Yahweh Shamar Al Thumba Shimi Al Shah. This precinct officer 500 Mathumyat. You know what I mean? About to check out, you know what I mean? We the I.S.U.P.K, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command and General YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, that Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are God's chosen people according to the Bible. All right, so, you know what I mean? With that, man, I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to say shalom, all right? I'll see y'all next Tuesday.